Hello YouTube, how you all doing? Eviet here, bringing you a bit of a different kind of video, something I've been wanting to do for a while. Today we are going to be doing a review of Dragon Ball Super episode 100, and my oh my do we have a lot to talk about. A lot happened in this episode, so without any further ado, let's just get right into it. So the episode starts with pretty much carrying on from where the last episode ended. Krillin's just been knocked out of the tournament by Frost, and he's now getting berated by the rest of his team, especially Android 17 and even Android 18, who, you know, she's saying, "Oh, I can't believe you're even my husband," and it's a funny scene. But then that quickly moves on to what is arguably the emphasis of this episode, which is the Saiyans, both of Universe 6 and of Universe 7, the parallel universes with Saiyans. And a lot of the focus is on especially Kale and Cauliflower. I think that's how you say her name, Cauliflower, whatever it is. And their relationship, as well as their combat with Goku. There's also a little earlier scene between Kaba and Vegeta, and oh my god, Kaba comes in and just straight up smacks away two of the other competitors. It's a great little moment. So, moving on, you get to essentially a little confrontation between Goku and Kale and Cauliflower. This is after Cauliflower has just saved Kale from two other participants in the tournament who were beating the absolute crap out of her. And obviously, you know, she's there. She's a very timid girl, other than when she transforms, which we'll get to in a second. And as a result, she cannot fight back. She almost gets thrown out until Cauliflower saves her. Now, moving on, they meet Goku. Goku is there just getting ready to fight a Yard Rat, which is of course quite ironic, and instantly Cauliflower just comes in and just smacks him aside, basically says, "No thank you, he's mine." And she's asking Goku to show her how to transform into Super Saiyan Blue. And Goku basically says, "I don't think you're ready for Super Saiyan Blue," which obviously she's like, "What?" They have a little skirmish, and Cauliflower then basically buffs up, becomes like Super Trunks from the Cell Saga, which we've all seen, we all know doesn't work, and pretty much instantly gets battered aside by Goku, who then transforms to Super Saiyan 2, which then causes Cauliflower to proceed to transform to Super Saiyan 2. And this is where some of the controversy starts coming through about this episode. I'm going to get to that at the end, after I finish recapping the actual episode itself. So they're skirmishing for a little bit, and then they stop, and Kale, bless her, tries to help Cauliflower by firing a rather weak Ki Blast at Goku. Goku instantly bats it aside, turns to her and says, "Sorry, could you not interrupt us?" Kind of in the middle of something, which is just like, yikes, when you've seen what Kale can do, you want to watch what you say. Kale then proceeds to ask Cauliflower if Cauliflower believes Kale is a burden to her, to which Cauliflower just turns and looks at Goku. Now, what we have essentially figured out from previous transformations is that Kale's trigger, in a way, what causes her to transform, is when she believes she is disappointing or losing Cauliflower, who is both her mentor and her best friend / kind of sister-like figure. So, as a result, Kale proceeds to transform into the Super Saiyan Berserker that we've seen only once before. Obviously, a lot of other people are referring to it as, I believe, Super Saiyan Rage, or, you know, just a pseudo-legendary Super Saiyan, very, very similar to Broly, of course. And she proceeds to absolutely wax Goku. Like, she decides that Goku is the reason she is losing Cauliflower, and as a result proceeds to beat the absolute shit out of him. So much so that he is forced to transform into Super Saiyan Blue. And instantly he goes for the Kamehameha, fires it point blank into her, and she walks through like it's nothing. Very reminiscent of the scene in the Broly movie where something very similar happened. And I think that's something that can be said about this episode, about Kale. She is designed to look like Broly because basically it's very clear the impact he had caused a lot of people to label him as a favourite character. I myself love Broly. I understand that in the grand scheme of things, he's actually a pretty bad character, but just when he was first introduced, I absolutely loved what he brought and the absolute destruction he caused on the Z Fighters. But going over to Kale, it's clear that a lot of the moments and a lot of the fighting style and a lot of just what she tends to do is very reminiscent of Broly, and you can tell they've almost made it like that as fan service, which once again proceeds to be what a lot of people consider quite controversial. So she completely withstands Goku's Kamehameha from Super Saiyan Blue, to which point she loses control. Completely loses control, starts leveling the place. She has a confrontation with one of the, I believe it's the Pride Troopers, basically one of Topper and one of Jiren's men, who instantly she basically knocks out. Not before, of course, he lassos her and goes, haha, no one can escape from my lasso, which, of course, in Dragon Ball, in any sort of anime, they will then proceed to instantly break out of. So she's there, causing absolute destruction, and finally, Jiren steps up to the plate. Jiren comes on in, one blast, fires her into the sky, and she recedes back to her original state. She loses her form. This is showing just how powerful Jiren is. Like, he is most likely the strongest warrior in the tournament, and I think it's something that's kind of been hinted at and something we kind of know. What I think is going to happen, because there was a little moment where I thought it might happen, is I think there will be a little confrontation between him and Hit, and I think he is going to beat Hit, because essentially by beating Hit, what that does is that takes what was originally the biggest threat, the biggest challenge, the biggest rival to Goku, eliminates that, and therefore elevates himself as that biggest threat and rival. So he doesn't eliminate Cauliflower. In fact, doesn't eliminate Kale. Cauliflower then steps in, saves her again, and those three and Hit retreat as at the end Goku confronts Jiren, and the episode ends. So all in all, that was the meat of the episode. Now, then we get onto the controversy of the episode, being transformations. I spoke before about how Cauliflower just instantly became Super Saiyan 2 after, I think she achieved it once when fighting Kale back when Kale first transformed. The problem I think a lot of people are having with what they're doing right now with these Saiyans is that there is absolutely no work going into their transformations. Cauliflower reached Super Saiyan 2 with no effort whatsoever. Now, when you've watched the series, when you've watched the original Dragon Ball Z and you've watched it all the way through, you remember how much time and effort it took for Goku, Vegeta, Gohan to get to that point, to get to that pinnacle of power. And when they did, it was such a feeling of, holy shit, look at this. And then to see characters who we've seen for maybe 3 episodes, really, and then they just instantly get it, a lot of people are calling bullshit. But that's not the biggest bullshit that people are seeing. The biggest bullshit, and I'm afraid, and I'm sorry to say it, is Kale. Kale is very reminiscent of Broly. We know this. But as a result, as she is, in my opinion, more of a fan service character, I believe that what essentially they've done is made her pure fan service. You know, as I said before, her scene when she just withstood Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha, essentially making her stronger than Super Saiyan Blue, which is insane. Like, he has the power, Goku has reached the power of a god, and Kale, having reached this form for probably only the 2nd time, is now stronger than Goku at that stage? I don't think so. No. That, I'm afraid to say, is utter bullshit. It is, and it's a shame, because I myself was very excited when I saw Kale, but in actual fact, she should not be able to stand up to him in Super Saiyan Blue. And I think one of the other shames that, for me, was that he went right from Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan Blue. Just completely ignored Super Saiyan 3. Now, if her and Super Saiyan 3 had a skirmish and she was a little bit stronger than Super Saiyan 3, I can accept that, okay? We never really know just how strong Broly was, because the way he lost was bullshit. Because they made him too strong, and they didn't know how to beat him, so they did this thing where they gave all the energy to Goku, Goku beat him. Simple. But we don't know, as a result, how strong Broly actually was. We know what he could do, we know for a fact that he has destroyed galaxies, but we don't know just how strong he can get. So, then the question is, could Broly, even though he is obviously not canon, but could he have gotten to the strength of Kale? Or rather, could Kale really be as strong as Super Saiyan Blue? Is it implying then that Broly is as strong as Super Saiyan Blue? Now, obviously, what a lot of people could argue is, oh, but Broly wasn't canon, Kale is canon, it's technically they're separate characters, she's not the legendary Super Saiyan, it's a different form. Yes, and I agree with you, apart from the fact that she is Broly. She is canon Broly, there's no getting around it. Everything she does, the way she acts, the way that when she was attacking, she was going, Son Goku, Son Goku. Very reminiscent of Broly going, Kakarot. It is Broly. So you have to assume that the strength and everything is similar. But I think what the biggest problem with what this essentially achieved is it made Super Saiyan Blue into even more of a joke, and it's a shame, because actually the form is so powerful. It's so strong. It should not be struggling against things like this, against Kale. Super Saiyan Blue, with the power of a god. I'm sorry, that Kamehameha would have stopped Beerus in his tracks. Okay, might not have beaten him, but it would have stopped him. So what essentially now the show is implying is that Kale is as strong as a god of destruction. Therefore, Jiren, who effortlessly swatted her aside, it is implying that he is stronger than a god of destruction, or of equal strength. Which isn't the case. It can't be the case. That's the whole point of them being the gods of destruction, is that they are superior in strength to their universes. Otherwise, what would be the point of the universes listening to the gods? They have to be stronger. And this is kind of unfortunate. It's an unfortunate controversy that has been caused, and a lot of people they are calling bullshit on it, and I don't blame them. Kale is a bit of a bullshit character, and one could argue it's the same with all of the other Saiyans of that universe. Now, what's also being argued is that maybe that those Saiyans of Universe 6 are naturally more talented, are naturally more gifted, are naturally stronger than the Saiyans of Universe 7. And this, to be fair, is not completely unplausible. It's not an unreasonable thought, because you go to Cabba who instantly transformed more or less to Super Saiyan, having never even seen the form. In his base form, he was also staying on par with Super Saiyan Vegeta, so you could argue that these Saiyans are naturally more gifted than the ones of Universe 7. However, the fact that they are achieving these forms so effortlessly is once again, and this is what I think essentially has happened. I think that all three Saiyans from that universe are fan service. I think they are absolutely fan service, but the problem is they had to be strong enough fan service to actually have an impact in the tournament and have an impact on the Saiyans that we know. So Cabba came in, and he is arguably the one that isn't fan service, because he came in and he, quite frankly, when he originally fought Vegeta in the tournament between Universe 6 and Universe 7, he didn't stand a chance. Vegeta pretty easily beat him after helping him get to Super Saiyan, and as a result, Cabba now considers Vegeta somewhat of a teacher and a mentor. I liked that, and I think a lot of people did. It helped us see another side of Vegeta, a teacher side, one that we hadn't really seen before, not even with his own son. But I think that's because Cabba, in a way, represented what Vegeta really wanted in a son, a little bit more so than Trunks, because Trunks obviously had the influence of his human upbringing. Then we move on to Cauliflower. Cauliflower was the first female Saiyan, female Super Saiyan rather, that we've ever seen. She's the first female Saiyan we've ever seen get to that level. So in a way, that is fan service. We've never seen it before. But for some reason, she could get to Super Saiyan 2 almost instantly after, not even exaggerating, a few minutes ago she got to Super Saiyan. Then when Kale transformed, she got to Super Saiyan 2. You have to think back to the Cell Saga. You have to think back to all the different variations of Super Saiyan, all the different time, the years that they all put in before they could become Super Saiyan 2. You know, Goku and Vegeta, we didn't see them as Super Saiyan 2 until the Majin Buu saga. So there was a long period of time, constant training, never ending. And then, when Goku was fighting Cauliflower, he said, you could even get to Super Saiyan 3 in this fight. Now, I don't know if anyone remembers the first time we saw Super Saiyan 3, but it wasn't a quick transformation by any means. Goku took almost half an episode transforming. He used up all the time he had left. Super Saiyan 3 is not a great transformation, and I think this is the excuse, in my opinion, that they're using as to why we basically don't see it anymore. As to why often it jumps from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan Blue and just skips Super Saiyan 3. Because one thing that was covered about Super Saiyan 3 is the absolutely incredible strain it causes on the body. So the thing is, you could almost assume about Super Saiyan 3 is that that form is a really forced Super Saiyan transformation. It's one Goku absolutely pushed his body to the limit, and it grants him incredible power, but at a price. Whereas Super Saiyan Blue doesn't have that, which is why Super Saiyan Blue can use the Kaioken. Whereas in Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, he didn't, because it would just drain away at him. So essentially, what do I think of this episode in general? It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fan service, but I did think it was bullshit. Was Kale a badass character? Was she a badass fighter? Yes, of course. She was. But unfortunately, that badassery was outweighed by the bullshit. She shouldn't have been as strong as she was. She should have caused problems, of course. She should have caused issues, otherwise what's the point of her coming? But what they wanted to do, they wanted to push these Saiyans to the same kind of heights that the Saiyans we know have. And in order to do so, they had to have them transform very quickly and get to those heights. But the problem is, that's more fan service, and it's just completely shits on the continuity and the legitimacy of what we all know to happen in the previous saga in Dragon Ball Z. Something we've come to know and something we've come to love. That's why we're all here watching Super, because we all love Dragon Ball, we all love Dragon Ball Z, we all tolerated Dragon Ball GT, and now we're here. And at this point, you have to start questioning, what else are they going to start doing now? What other powers? You know, the fact they had almost everyone fight on par with Super Saiyan Blue at this point. Goku has to have a new form. He has to have a new form in this tournament against Jiren. Like, I don't think even Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, or whatever it is, Super Saiyan Blue, Red, Rainbow, bullshit, Green, I don't know. He has to have something new. But we'll see. We'll see what's coming. And hopefully, Kale, now, after seeing that, I do kind of want her to get waxed. And I kind of want her to go. And I kind of want Saiyan to do it. Because her walking through that Kamehameha, I believe, upset a lot of fans. And rightfully so, in my opinion. Rightfully so. But yeah, I thought it was a good episode, and I am looking forward to seeing where they go with the rest of the tournament, and to see whether the predictions of whether the Grand Priest really is the main antagonist of the arc is actually going to come to be, or whether something else will happen. But anyway, if you've enjoyed my review, if this is something you'd like to see more of, please leave a like, please leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know what you thought of the episode, whether you thought it was in fact bullshit or badass. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you hopefully on the next review. Bye!